Okay, for making a really great tower, I've seen a lot of really great towers get made in my room, and a lot of kids are proud of what they make. I'm going to share with you some tips for making a really great tower. The first tip is have a plan. Work with the people in your group, come up with who is going to do what. Now, everybody wants to be the builder. Everybody wants to add stuff to the tower. Not everybody can be the builder. What you really need is a team of people. Some people to make the materials and prepare the materials, some people to build it up, and everybody's opinion needs to matter. Okay? Sometimes you get a dynamic where one person is running the show, and they think of everybody else as the help, as the people who are there to help them make their vision happen. Really, it needs to be a team. It needs to be a thing where if most of the people don't like this idea, the idea gets thrown out, okay? And if you can't agree on it, it's best to just move on and come up with a better idea. One of the things you'll hear from me is the first idea you have is always your worst idea. Your idea can always get better. After having a plan, we want to understand the material we are working with. Now, the material we're working with is paper. Now, paper is a really, really awesome and versatile material. It's way stronger and more powerful than you think it is. It's very flexible, we know that. So it doesn't have what we call compression strength. Paper crunches really easy. It doesn't compress really well. But what it has a lot of is it has a lot of tensile strength. It has a lot of strength of pulling motion. Now, there are ways of taking that tensile strength and changing it so that we have a much stronger material. And that is understanding something about geometry and how geometry works. Now, what makes this really weak is it's flexible like this. We need to get rid of that. So to get rid of that, what we're going to do is take our paper and we are going to make a rod. I'm going to fold it in half. I'm not fold it in half. I'm going to fold an edge in, fold another edge in, and then I'm going to, as soon as I've got a nice grip on there, I'm going to roll this into a cylinder. And I'm going to use just a little bit of my glue stick. We do not need to use very much. And I am going to attach this together. And now I've got a rod, right? It is hollow. Now this rod is actually really strong. Okay? It's really strong, it's really powerful. I can hold stuff up with it. Okay? I can put my weight on it, but if it bends, if the rod is weakened somehow, it loses its power, right? It becomes flexible again. We need to have some way to hold it rigid. Now there's a couple ways we can do that. You can arrange your pieces, okay, so that they overlap. And like this, I'm going to have this overlap with this other piece. And this lets me build a longer rod. It also lets me build this rod so that every layer has like 2 layers on it. So I attach it here, put a little glue on, and how can I keep this going? I could put a piece here, and I can keep that going. And I'm going to put some glue here and have it overlap and keep that going. And now I've got this really big, long tower here that is very, very strong. It definitely holds itself up. And if I want to, I can take it. It helps if I've got it glued a little bit better. I can actually take this longer rod and I can bend it into shapes to build my tower, right? I can bend it to make triangles, put a little bit of tape there, or even just insert it into itself. And now I've got a really strong triangle there that I could build off of and use this as part of my tower. That is one way. You could also take bunches of the rods and tape them together. You could also make a frame and build your tower straight up. There's lots and lots of ways that you can make this really, really cool. But the trick is to have teamwork and to have a plan from the start. You will be able to work better that way. Once you kind of understand this, if there are no other questions, you can move on to the next slide, and we will immediately start building. So you're going to take your Briggs bucks, take them to the teacher, and you're going to trade your Briggs bucks for some paper, for some tape if you need tape, and you're going to start constructing your tower. Now, when that 30 minutes are up, you are going to need to make sure all of your stuff is cleaned up. If there are tower parts that are not going to be used, they need to be recycled. If your tower is still standing and you want to save it for tomorrow, you need to make sure your name is on it with a marker. There are markers in the red drawers at the front of my room that you can use to put your name on it. You need to make sure that before you leave, all the tables are clear of materials, all of the floor is clear of materials, and all of my glue sticks are returned. I have 12 glue sticks. I want 12 of them back. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, when you're ready, go to the next slide and start the timer.